Hey, Bev.
Hey, Sam and Jessica.
Who's Jessica? How did
Hi.
you get it in here?
I know. I like
Why are you
hacked
here?
into this.
Oh, no.
I left the back door open. I'm sorry.
Oh, Bev, again?
This is totally my fault.
I heard somebody just open a drink. Who was that? Was that Bev?
Yep, that was me.
Mm.
I was trying to find a lime beer to drink for this episode because this is
Oh,
all about lime and First
Yes.
Saturday lime, but I did not have any lime beers in my beer fridge. And since I live in the middle of nowhere, I couldn't just like go and pick some up. I mean, I probably could have found some Bud Light Lime down at one of the gas stations, but no, I stuck with this Yellowhammer Brewing Belgian White, which is in a green can.
oh.
So I
Well,
thought
that
that worked.
works. Yeah.
So, what are you drinking, Sam?
I am drinking, well, I was not as thoughtful for you, but for the record, before we jumped on here, I did drink one of those like spiked sparkling water things that was lime. So it was like I was being thoughtful earlier, but not right now.
Oh,
But now I'm drinking a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc called Our
fancy.
Haro. It's very
Wow.
delicious. Yeah, I got fancy for this occasion of our very first interview. So, cheers. And Jessica, I'm assuming you're drinking something over there.
I definitely am, but I'm from Oklahoma, so I don't know if you guys know our alcohol laws is a little bit different than everyone
Hmm.
else's. And the gas station was my only resort today.
Oh,
And there's very a select products that you can get, and I chose a Michelob Ultra.
Ooh, there's nothing wrong with that.
you are
So,
so bougie over there with your
aren't
Michelob.
I?
Yeah.
Yes, I did put a lime in it,
Ooh.
so,
Oh, there we go.
pinky up.
Well, I'm guessing you put like an actual lime in it and not some of your lime
Yes,
product. I'm hoping. Okay. Okay,
yes.
just checking. I didn't know like, you work for Saturday Lime, so you're like being the product. I didn't know if
Uh-huh.
that was a thing or not.
No,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't eat it. I
Oh,
could,
that's good.
but I
Yeah.
don't.
That's probably good though, yeah. It's probably not as useful if it's in your system and not
Yeah.
like on the
People
ground.
do ask all the time though. They're like, "Is it ground up lime, like the
Mm,
fruit?" And we're like, "It's limestone." But I understand, like sometimes people just don't know. But yeah, it's
yeah.
limestone, the mineral, not the fruit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That totally makes sense.
Mhm.
Yes. And like there's a little froggy on the bag, but I'm assuming there's no frog in the ingredients as well. That's not like the
No.
proprietary ingredient. No. Okay.
No, he
Just
is
checking.
our friend. He's our
Okay.
mascot. No frogs were harmed in the making of First Saturday Line.
Frogs are friend, not
Frogs are
food.
friends, yes. We love him. His name is Ricardo.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
awesome.
gosh.
He is sassy. We have to bring him back a notch all the time because he has his own Facebook profile and he will like
Oh.
comment on other people's like reviews or comments on First Saturday Lime.
Oh.
He's fantastic. We love him.
Well, that's cute. I didn't even know he had a name, but I'm so happy that it's Ricardo because it just sounds so exotic,
I know.
for
Yeah.
him being from Oklahoma.
I know,
He's like,
right?
he's pretty fancy over there. So if I can backpedal a little bit, I'm just a little interested because I'm ignorant to
Mhm.
Oklahoma's alcohol laws. So what are the rules?
Okay, so it's changing, I hear. I hear it's changing because we voted on it like last year, but it takes like 2 years to go into effect. But our alcohol, you cannot get like wine or vodka or whatever from the grocery store. You have to go to an actual like alcohol store.
Like the
And
county
Oh,
liquor store. I think
yeah,
Ohio is that way, or some counties in Ohio are that way.
yeah, our beer can only be 3.2%.
Oh, that's like Utah.
oh,
Yeah, so we have to drink twice as much. It's awful. And you can't, like, I guess if you wanted beer that was more than 3.2, I think you can find that in the liquor stores. I'm not sure though. But
Huh.
usually all our beer are 3.2. But I hear that's changing. Like if I go to the grocery store, I can like get wine there. That will be amazing because I have to go to the liquor store to get wine and it's not fun. And I run out way more than I want to.
It just sounds like it's not nearly as convenient, which is probably the point. But like, it's so convenient for me to walk into Walmart and, pick up some wine or some beer or whatever. I mean, you can't get liquor at Walmart, at least not in Michigan. But yeah, that convenience factor is
Yeah.
pretty nice. So I'm sending all the positive vibes to
Thank
Oklahoma
you.
that
Thank
they
you.
get it together
I
so you
think
can.
we're changing. I think the change is coming. I just don't know when. I have not been paying attention close enough. I just know that change a coming. I hear it all the time.
All right. So I feel like we haven't like properly introduced you. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do over at your lovely company?
Okay, I am Jessica, and I am from First Saturday Lime, and my position has changed several times, but let's call myself the production manager. Let's call myself
Ooh,
that for right now. Yeah.
that sounds pretty fancy.
It does. I like that.
On my business cards, I don't have anything because it changes all the time.
They'd have to have like a budget for your business cards so
Yeah.
that they could replace them every time they
Yeah.
changed your title.
I mean, we are a technically still a startup company. We're going into like our second year and still our first year of being into retail. So we are growing and moving, but that means my responsibilities and titles are constantly changing.
Okay. But that's pretty exciting to be in a startup environment like that. I know some people might find it stressful, but I believe when we talked before, you mentioned that the product has been around for longer than that.
Yes, so technically, my father and the owner, her name is Jana, she's my sister. So our father had our parent company, which is our farm, and he had Lime. And what he did was he worked with the co-ops around Oklahoma. So if anyone had a problem with their field, they would get their soil tested, and then he would formulate whatever lime would be best to treat that field. So we had this product for a while, but we didn't have it in retail. We just used it for our farm or farms around us. And then we decided last year, maybe 2 years ago, that we would take the leap and try to not do wholesale. We're going to go into retail, and here we are.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And I've been personally using the product now for a few months and I absolutely love it so much that like because my chickens are kind of some of them are kind of nosy, so when I'm spreading it around the coop, they'll like run under it. And it's really nice to know that I don't have to freak out about them like getting covered in it or anything because they just do what they want. So can you explain why that's okay and maybe the difference between your guys' product versus other kinds of lime?
Okay, yes, definitely. So usually when people hear of lime or they've used lime before, they think of hydrated lime, and that's pretty much limestone that's been burnt to some kind of degree. I don't know what it is, but it's really high and it makes it really harsh. So that lime can burn you on contact. So whenever people are using it, some of the results have been, it burned my hands or it burned the bottom of my animal's feet. And our product is different because ours was at one point hydrated lime, but we formulated it with different molecules to make it safe. So whenever you get lime from the ground, that's called barn lime, that is very safe to use, but it's not very effective on pest control or bacteria control. It has a lot of impurities in it because it came from the ground. So ours is as safe as barn lime that you get from the ground, but is just as effective as hydrate lime. which is very strong but can have bad side effects.
That's really neat. Yeah, I've been using lime for a few months also, and I started just like putting it in the floor of my coop and in the barn stall that the goats are in before I put fresh bedding down, because I feel like it keeps down like the number of creepy crawlies that end up being in there, and it kind of makes it smell a little fresher for a little longer in there.
Yes, so our number one usage is chicken owners. So there's so many benefits for chickens in the bedding because one, chickens love to bathe in it. You really can't use too much for sour lime with chickens or any animal, really. It's really that safe where they can be like stepping and sleeping on it and not going to hurt them. But chickens love to bathe in it, so it really helps with the mites, the fleas, any kind of larvae that could be living in their feathers. It controls the bacteria that could be in their bedding, so it has like a really good drying technique, and really just the drying alone can control bacteria growth. It will control mold that you get in the coops because of the moisture. It will deodorize because it's controlling the mold and the larvae growth and the bacteria growth. It is something that they can digest for a calcium source. So if your chickens are eating it, it's just going to give them calcium. The technical name for it is precipitated calcium carbonate, which is very similar to Tums. So if an animal eats it, they're going to be fine. They're just getting an extra calcium source inside them. So that helps, like, with their egg production and all that.
Yeah, and their eggshell strength, and yeah, you probably end up with like less broken eggs in the coop when they're ingesting it. That's
Yeah.
really neat. Yeah, when we had lice in our coop, one of the things I had on hand was a bag of First Saturday lime, and I just took a big old handful and I just covered each chicken with it because I knew that it wasn't going to hurt them. Because, like, the dust doesn't like, it's not like, I can't remember what the other thing is. It doesn't like cause the lung damage.
Yeah, DE, diatomaceous earth. Yeah, we're compared to diatomaceous earth a lot. And the thing that causes the respiratory issues is the silica. And it's almost made up of 98% of silica is in diatomaceous earth. And I remember I didn't even research DE, but when I was just working with the lime and the ag department came out and saw how much dust there was, they were like, "Is this silica? Because this is so bad for you." And I was like, "I don't know." So we like had it tested, and we are 100% silica free compared to DE. But yeah, I'm so scared of silica now, just because we did so much research on it, and I don't even get like my skincare products with silica in it because it really does cause so much damage to your respiratory system.
That's so interesting because you see so many chicken keepers. I'm in a few different chicken groups on Facebook just because you learn so much in there and you get to look at cute chicken pictures. And
Mhm.
apparently, I don't get that enough on Instagram, but that is like everybody's default is DE. And like we've used it too, but since finding this lime, we were able to like scale back quite a bit. And I don't even know if we even have it in the dust bath anymore because this is just as effective and way safer for us and the chickens.
Yeah, and I don't want to discourage anyone from using a healthy alternative. Like I think DE in some sources is would be really good, and whatever if it's something that an animal's not breathing it in or whatnot, I think that would be awesome to use. But if you are going to be breathing around it, or you have an animal crawling in it or smelling it, then it might not be the safest.
Well, and I think what has sort of happened, like in the world of chicken keeping, is like, so chickens used to just be utilitarian. They were just for meat or just for eggs, but now, we love our chickens. We want to take like the best care of them that we possibly can. And so when they got things like scaly leg mites or lice or any of the other like creepy crawly parasites, like the only thing that you really could use at the time was like I think somebody talked about WD-40 for like scaly leg mites and
Oh
then
my
like
God.
Seven Dust,
Yeah.
like Seven Dust for lice.
Yeah.
So DE was like that was the safe alternative to
Hmm.
those things. And like compared to those things, it is like I I personally would rather have to deal with a tiny bit of lung damage when used carefully than all of the extra like chemicals and pesticides. But
Definitely.
now that lime, I mean, you guys are just now introducing this into the retail market, this safe lime, because like they couldn't throw that other lime that like hurts your hands and burns your feet and stuff. You couldn't throw that on your chicken for
Yeah,
lice.
yeah,
So now lime is just like the next step in safety for chickens. So like if you
definitely.
use DE, like don't like beat yourself up about it. Like we're making
Right.
a progression like in the things that we're using to keep our chickens safe.
Yes,
Exactly.
any healthy alternative is better than using any kind of chemical on your
Like
animal.
WD-40.
Yeah.
WD-40. Well, I mean,
Is your
somebody said that
chicken
you can use
squeaky?
olive oil. Yeah, squeaky.
Is there a little bit of rust that you just need to knock off of their legs?
Yeah, and we always tell ourselves like we don't want to be competitors to anyone that's trying to promote something natural. We just want to be another solution for people out there, especially with animals or if you have kids around and don't want to affect your environment. Like that's what we, just want to support.
Yeah, and and it probably depends on what your climate is like. Like, so where I live, all of my grass is covered in all of this like beautiful clover and dandelions all the time. So there's bees like all over my yard. So if I was sprinkling diatomaceous earth around the coop to keep the bugs out, like I'd be doing a lot of damage to the bees too. But like, the lime doesn't have the silica in it, so it doesn't like tear them up like
Well, we haven't had any, and we're going to, but we haven't had any studies with bees yet. I know that some beekeepers use us because bees actually get a mite on them, and
yeah, they do.
the mites go like they climb up into their beehive or whatever that contraption that has bees. I obviously don't have bees, but they use this on the bottom of their beehives, and that helps repel that mite that gets up in there. So, but we do whenever we recommend people to use lime in like the flower beds or their gardens, we tell them try not to put it on the petals or the buds, just because we don't have that testing on the bees yet.
Yeah, but you guys are working on getting that done, so we'll look forward to updating
Yeah,
everybody
Yeah.
when that's done. Because, like, the more information you have, just like the better you can do for your farm and your environment.
definitely.
So you mentioned using it in the flower bed. So obviously we've covered like chicken bedding, and I've seen on your Instagram you guys are like big into the horse community. Then I use it in my goat pens, but how else can you use lime other than for animals?
So, what we made this product for is for homeowners. So, if you want to treat your house, but you don't want to use chemicals around your pets or children or family, we made this product to pour around the base of your home, and that will last a month. We're most effective for controlling homes and gardens 1 month, where we repel best for 1 month. So we remind people the first Saturday to go ahead and relime. Uh,
Mm.
so with gardens, you can pour around the base of your garden, and we have pictures that you can refer to on our Instagram page and our Facebook page. But you can pour around the base so you can keep away, like, I don't know what people have in their gardens, but we've tested against, beetles and slugs and ants.
Isn't there like a really cool magical trick with hydrangeas?
Yes, so in hydrangeas, they will change their colors due to the pH balance, and lime will change that. So if you put lime in the soil of your hydrangeas, they will turn from blue to this really pretty dark pink.
Okay, so I have a couple hydrangeas right now that are in bloom and a couple more that are coming, but they're already a dark pink. So does that mean it wouldn't change their color, or should I wait for my other ones to bloom to see if they change those ones?
I would wait until the other ones bloom. Like you can always put it down because if you want like blue hydrangeas, you can put like what is that? It's orange essential oil in your soil and it'll
Oh,
turn
no
blue.
way.
Yeah, and then if you want to go back pink, it really just depends on your pH and it changes
Huh.
faster than you think. It's really fun. Like I had some in my backyard and they were green. And I was like, what? It's not blue or
Oh.
pink.
That's really cool. I just dusted lime all over. I have some, what are they? They're Brussels sprout plants,
Uh-huh.
and those green worms got all over them and
Oh,
like put all these
no.
big holes in the leaves. So I sprinkled some of that on it to see if that would make the worms go away. I don't
Have
know if
you
I got to
noticed
it in
anything?
time. I haven't noticed anything yet, but there were no worms on them this morning when I went and checked on
Oh.
them. They're pretty sad looking because I waited a little too long to intervene.
Yes, you try to have to like prevention is key. So like it's a lot easier to treat like your coop or your vegetables or your garden, before you get. So that's why we tell everyone to pour around the base of those things. And then if you have a problem, go ahead and dust it as much as you can. But if you do too, like on your vegetables, if you do like the leaves or they have some kind of bud, it is a drying material. So we say try not to put it on that because it will dry up that flour.
So, you guys have some like super cool changes in the works that you're working on right now. Do you want to tell us about those?
Yes. So right now you can just find First Celery Lime online, and that's through our website, www.firstcellerylime.com, or you can find us on Amazon. But we are working so hard because so many of our customers have asked us to be like in a brick and mortar store. So we're working with different stores and just different distributors to get all around the US, and that will be happening here. I want to say at the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
Oh, that's so exciting. So, I know you were saying before that you guys were wholesale and moving into retail. So, can you share with us some of the maybe shenanigans around kind of restructuring everything? Has anything really odd happened? Or, like, we like to talk about the weird stuff. Obviously, there's always good and bad, but are there any interesting experiences you've had in the past year with that transition?
I mean, yes, I. So my dad, who passed a couple of years ago, and he left it to
Mm.
my oldest sister. So she had the lime pile. That's what we called it, the lime pile, which is which is the farm. But she had the lime pile, quote unquote. We knew that this product was, we're sharing it with neighbors around town and with our friends. And I was working as a wellness coordinator. And with all of my experience, I noticed that with the state of health and just in Oklahoma, it's not like the problem wasn't people not exercising enough or eating right enough. It was more like a culture thing. People really like didn't know where their food was coming from. They didn't have like a healthy knowledge of their food or relationship with food. So I was talking to her about becoming a farmer because I was like, I want to be there from start to finish when food is being grown and processed. And she was telling me about this lime, and she owned a restaurant, and she didn't want to be spraying pesticides around this restaurant. So whenever we decided to put this on the market, we separated ourselves from the farm. And it has, any startup, it's really scary. It's so much work, but it's so rewarding because we are seeing this huge movement with people wanting to go natural. And we want to be there for anyone taking their first step of just asking, like, what they're putting on their yard, what they're putting on their vegetables that they're growing in their backyard. They are starting their own coop to get their own eggs. Like, we want to be a part of that. And through this journey, it has been a lot of ups and even more downs and a lot of work. But I was asking my sister, I was like, other than all the horror stories that we have with going into retail, I'm like, can you think of a story that like you think about and you like laugh? And she's like, oh yeah, she's like the Las Vegas show. So
What
Oh
just
boy.
happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas.
we definitely took that home.
But Are you gonna spill the beans here just for us since we're drinking and stuff?
Yeah,
Ooh.
definitely. Why not? I'm already two in. Let's share.
Yeehaw.
So we had a trade show in Las Vegas, and we were so lucky to get in. Like there was a cancellation for this hardware show 2 days before it started, and we're like, we'll take it. So we like packed up everything. Usually when we go to a show, we like to bring chicks with us. They are such a good like attention grabber, and we like to educate people on it, especially with our retail interests. People who are getting their own coops, they benefit from our products so much. So whenever we got to Vegas, Jana, I'm blaming this on Jana too, so.
Hopefully she doesn't make us cut this.
Yeah.
She's not here to defend herself.
She had to have the chicks. And I was like, let's buy fake chicks. Let's buy something like not real. And she's like, no, I want real chicks. So we like made arrangements for if we got these chicks, like we were going to give them to our customer that lived there. And so I coordinated all this and we got the chicks a day before we went to the show, and we had to have them there at the show, and they did really good. They're really good chicks. And we had to sneak them into our hotel room every night. And so we'd like have them in like this little box that we'd carry around. And like in the elevator, obviously they're not allowed. Like chickens are not allowed in hotel rooms. So they'd be like chirping. And we'd be like, what is that? Like that's so odd. Like in the elevator, it was like really quiet, and like you're packed in there with like five people. We're like, oh my, like that sounds like a bird.
Like,
It's
it's
my
just my
ringtone.
ringtone. Oh, did we just say that at the same time?
We did. That's creepy. But yeah, oh my gosh, that's too funny.
So by the end of the show, I was like talking to the person that was going to take them. Well, we worked with the chicks, we ate with the chicks, we slept with the chicks. We got pretty attached to these two
Oh.
chicks. And she did not want to let them go. And I was like, we gotta let them go. Like, how are we gonna get them home? And she made arrangements for them to fly home with us. And I
Aw.
thought she was crazy. So the airline just had this big ordeal with pets, and they had some issues with some pets, like dogs,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
getting on, like being too
Yeah.
big or they're in spots they weren't supposed to be in on the plane. So they had this big, like, just change in transporting pets on the airplane. So she looked up that it was okay to take birds. And she's like, well, technically, a chicken's a bird, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we take these chicks to the airport, and I'm like mad because I'm like, this is crazy. I feel like this is crazy. And she was like, they're fine. Like, they ship chickens all around the US. Like, these chickens are going to be on an airplane. It's going to be so much better for them. Because we were thinking about, like, shipping them to us because that is a thing. But it's going to take too long because they have to be, like, they just have to hatch. I don't know how it works, but it wasn't going to work. So I was like, okay, but this is your deal. And when we get there, they're all like, there's certain kind of birds that are allowed on the plane. And we're like, these are bird chicks. That's what she's called them. Bird chicks. They're obviously chickens. Like, but thank goodness no one at the airline, like, I guess have ever seen chickens before. Because
Oh
they're
my
like, can
God.
we see them? And we're like, oh, shoot. And they're like, oh, wow, a bird chick. That's so odd. Like, they're like, hey, come look at this. Look at this bird chick. And we're like, yeah, it's show birds. Like, we just took them to a show with us. We have to get them back home. And, like, really, like, I was so surprised no one knew what a chick looked like. Because they all thought it was, like, this specialty, like, show
Like
chick.
exotic.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
you
this
are in Vegas. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. And this janitor walked by and he was like, those are baby chickens. And we're like, shh, like, oh, he's so crazy. Like, these are obviously show chicks, show bird chicks. So So like after an hour of like trying to convince them, they let us on. And the whole flight was like, what is that noise? And we're really like looking around like we were like in the elevator, like, what is that? That's so weird. Don't know. And we finally got them home. But oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I think I lost like a year of my life in that whole
Oh my God.
experience.
So does that mean your sister has those birds in her flock in her backyard or?
No, because they didn't get along with the birds that we share. Like,
Oh.
so another employee of ours, another staff member has them in his flock.
Okay. So they're still in the family then.
Yeah, yeah. We
Okay.
still get updates on them, but yeah, we have two silkies and they did not like them.
Oh.
So
Oh.
we were like,
Well,
oh,
I
not gonna
remember
work.
when I talked to you for the first time, you have your own flock, right?
Yes, like me and her, we kind of share. Like
Okay.
we have like the first Saturday Lime chickens, and there's only two, but we all kind of like share them. We share care
Oh.
with them. So on the weekends, like someone different will like take them home.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you posted really cute Chicken Selfie Sunday ones.
Oh yeah, with
So,
Dickie, or no, with Daphne. So we only have two, Dickie and Daphne.
oh, as they get a little older, do you find that they're kind of warming up to you and being a little more friendly?
Yeah, I mean, I got them for Christmas, and on Instagram, everyone's like cuddling with their chickens and cooking with their chicken. Well, like not cooking
Yeah,
their chicken, but
yeah, not
cooking
that'd
with
be
their
awkward,
chickens, like
yeah.
on their shoulder, and snuggling with them and being so cute. And these chickens were, yeah, they were so scared of me. Like they hated me. I was like, I'm your mommy. Like, don't be scared. And they're like,
Let me
ah, here
love
she comes
you.
again. Ah! But
Oh my gosh.
now that they're older and I force myself on them so many times, they know I'm okay and I have food usually.
Yeah, you
So,
can bait them with treats. Like Bev and I were talking about how we bribe our chickens earlier, so we definitely understand that. It does
yeah.
help.
But I still haven't had them like sleep on my lap. Like that's my goal is to like get them to sleep on me. I just don't know how people
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, it's funny. I can't speak for Bev, but most of mine, like we have some that are more just curious about us in general, but most of the time, like chickens do what they want. I think that's why there's the like chicken cross the road joke because you know why the chicken crosses the road? Because it does what it wants, like clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of my chickens are like overly friendly to me either. They sort of seem like they just sort of tolerate my presence because I bring them things. Like,
Yeah. They're like cats of the
yeah,
Yeah,
barn house. Yeah.
definitely.
I totally agree with that.
So, is there anything else that, with our lovely listeners that we're still trying to name, the jury's still out on what we're going to call them, but is there anything else that you want our listeners to know about you personally or for Saturday Lime?
Um, just that we are so excited just to be a part of anyone's journey of going natural. We want to be a support system for anyone. If that's, either sharing how to use our product or just referring them to a different partnership or group or Instagram page to show them how to give better health or take more control of their land or property or,
Farm.
yeah, farm. There you go.
The beers are catching up.
Yeah, we just want to be a part of, the people's journey into having a healthier life and having a healthier world with less chemicals in it.
Yeah. Well, Bev and I are all about that, that's for sure.
I did want to ask you guys though. So I am very new to chicken owning. I think we had chickens growing up, but they weren't really my responsibility. They're just like my pets. And we ate them. We ate them. I didn't really have a say in it.
Oh.
But now that I have Dickie and Daphne, Daphne, well, first I thought I had two girls, so it was Dixie and Daphne, and then it turned out to be a
Oh.
rooster, so now it's Dickie and Daphne.
I like that.
Now that Daphne is laying, my sister has hatched a couple of her babies, but we don't want to hatch too many because we are just doing it on whoever is requesting from us to get a silky.
Hmm.
So now I have like Daphne's eggs in the refrigerator, and I'm like thinking, okay, like I know where the egg come from. Like everyone kind of is like, that's a chicken period. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like that,
Oh
like
my God.
I eat eggs all the time. Like that doesn't that doesn't faze me at all. Whatever.
A chicken's period? Hold on. We can't skip over that. That's like the
No.
most amazing description of an egg ever.
I I've never thought of it like that, but now I'm kind of like, ooh,
You really have never thought of that before?
I have never
no.
thought of that either.
You've taught
It
us so
really
many
is
new
though, isn't
things
it?
today.
Yeah, I mean, it is. They just like have a 28-hour cycle instead of a 28-day cycle like humans do. Thank God we don't have a 28-hour cycle.
I
Oh
Oh
my
my
know. That
goodness.
God.
was heck.
And thank God, like chickens don't need tampons and pads. Like, sorry guys that are listening to this, but that would be quite the expense.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I have already digested that information. I've come to peace with it. I'm okay with it. Like I'm kind of like an all natural organic girl. I would eat a placenta if it was like given to me because I know
I
the
ate
health
my
benefits.
placenta.
You
Fun
did?
fact about Bev. Yeah, they ground it up and put it in capsules for me after I had Aurora. And in
Oh.
fact, I still have some in my deep freeze.
Oh,
They
send
told me to
them
save
to
a few of
me.
them. Yeah, I'll send you a couple. But they told me to save some for menopause. They said that it would be
Oh.
helpful when I went through menopause. I mean, I'm still a little ways away from menopause, I hope.
I mean, it's so healthy.
I used mine personally. It helped regulate my mood, like when I was going through like postpartum stuff.
That's what
That's
I
why I took
heard.
it.
Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to eat it to help with that after
Yeah.
you give birth. Yeah.
But they ground it up and put it in capsules so that I didn't have to
Okay.
like, like throw steak sauce on it and taste it or
So you
anything.
didn't
Ugh.
taste it at all? Like you weren't curious to see what it tasted like?
No, I wasn't. And I gave birth to her in a hospital, so like they weren't gonna let me do that at the hospital anyways. Like as it was, they thought it was super weird that I wanted them to put it in a bag and put it on ice for this lady to come pick up. Because like
Oh
I
my
had Aurora
gosh.
in 2011, so it was sort of like I don't know, we were like moving towards a more natural view on things, like
hmm
as a society, but I don't know that we had quite gotten there yet in 2011. Like 2018 now, I don't think anybody bats an eye at somebody grinding up their placenta.
Yeah.
But
I'm so tempted to like buy a placenta online because
yeah,
they're
I
so
mean,
healthy.
You can
animals in the
you can
wilds
do
and in the
that?
barnyard, they eat
You
their
can buy anything
placentas.
online.
Oh my God, this is amazing. We might just have to have you on again as an independent person because you, you're
Just
I'm
to
so
okay
like
with
hang
that.
out and talk.
I don't
yeah.
know if First Salary Live would like support me or like want their name on it, but I could.
We'll just call you Jessica, formerly known as J Lime.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so backtracking to the egg, okay, because we're not there yet.
Okay.
So the egg is technically maybe the chicken's period. Well, I don't want to separate Dickie and Daphne because it's just them two, okay? So now that she's making eggs and we don't want to hatch anymore, I just have like her eggs. But I'm kind of thinking there's sperm in this egg because Dickie's like mating with her all the time. So now I
Mm.
like have not been able to like try her eggs yet because I'm like I don't want to be eating like Dickie's sperm. That's weird to me.
So you're okay with period eggs, but not with Dickie's sperm. Isn't
I'm
that a little one-sided there,
it
Jessica?
yes, maybe. I'm okay with Daphne's period egg, but I just haven't been able to I haven't been able to eat sticky sperm. I just can't do it. Like, is it bad to eat like a fertilized egg? Is that like
No,
frowned
no,
upon? Like I'm
Yeah, it's
no,
not
eating
bad at all.
life. People don't like they won't like hate me to do that if I'm
no,
doing
no,
that.
no, no. And have you cracked one of them open yet?
Yes, I did make some scrambled eggs for some kids.
Okay. Okay.
I was so
For an
scared.
unsuspecting child.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I don't know if you noticed when you cracked it open, you see the little bullseye in there, and that means it's fertile. But literally, that's it. And until like little Daphne sits on them and goes all broody, or you put them in an incubator, really, there's not much of a difference in what you're eating. Like, it doesn't taste any different.
And
So,
people are okay with that I'm eating life.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, no one should have any issue with that. Like it won't taste any different and it doesn't start forming a chick until it's began incubating, whether it's under a broody hen or in an incubator. So, like as long as you get it out of the coop and out from under a hen within 3 days, you won't notice any difference.
Okay. And
Yeah.
but technically I am eating chicken sperm.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No.
Why
Like, would you,
wouldn't you say
Sam?
that? It's
Well,
definitely in there.
I mean,
well, we chicken sex is so confusing compared to like duck sex because
yeah.
duck sex, like, and we're gonna get real weird here for a second, but if you're listening to us, you should just expect it by this point.
Everything we do is weird
Uh,
now. I was not
yeah,
expecting our first interview to go this direction, but
no.
I'm liking it.
But ducks have like a penis that comes out and it's external and it looks like a corkscrew and it's really kind of creepy. It's like a rotini noodle almost. And so like when you see them have sex, it's like, oh, they're having sex. But and obviously even like a duck can decide if she wants to accept that sperm or not because ducks actually have different channels that they can like open and kind of shut. Ducks are like really freaking
Oh, good
cool.
for them.
Yeah, they're like independent women over there, and they're like, you're not fertilizing this egg. Um, but like with chickens, like I think Bev's called it before, what, like the cochlea kiss, because you
Yep.
never, there's like, you don't see a rooster's penis, like,
I
There's no
know.
penetration
ever.
because they
They
don't have
just have a
one.
hole. They're just rubbing holes together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
pretty
it just like
much.
goes pachoo, 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 and then the hen has a fertilized egg. Like I honestly like they don't actually make those noises, but in my head that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But both result in the same kind of fertilization. So if you crack open a duck egg, you're going to see that bullseye as well. So I guess it's just one of those things your brain has to kind of get over, I think, in order to follow through.
And it's only
Yeah.
like one sperm, which is like, how big could that possibly be? I guess if you really wanted to, you could like scoop the bullseye out because that's where the
Yeah.
sperm would be.
Oh yeah. Maybe
But
I'll do that for my first one, just like easing into it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
I
I
mean, you shouldn't
love
taste any
Dicky.
difference.
I just don't want to eat his sperm right now. I just don't.
This is the best conversation I've had all week. I'm so happy right now. Well, while we're at it, do you have any other kinds of questions for me and Bev that you would like to ask? You can ask us pretty much anything. I mean, you know about Bev's placenta at this point, so like we're all
That's very
BFFs now.
true. That's very
Yeah,
true. Let's see.
yeah.
I don't think I have any questions on top of my head. Especially that was my biggest concern was like, am I doing something wrong by eating this fertilized egg? Like, I don't want to eat life, but I will now.
Bev and Sam signed off on it, so it's totally
It's
kosher.
totally
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being kind of our interview guinea pig because this is our first time doing this, and I don't know about Bev, but I just had so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the most fun interview on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Well, I hope people learned and was maybe a little bit entertained.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will be.
Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media and just online in general if they want to order a bag of lime?
They can find us on www.firstsawyerlime. They can see our Amazon account on there, or if you want to buy directly from us, you can buy from there. But you can also find all of our social media outlets on there. So Facebook and Instagram is definitely our strongest.
Awesome. Well, and
Awesome.
we'll link to all of that stuff in the show notes. And listeners, First Saturday Lime have also partnered with us where you get 10% off when you order lime through First Saturday Lime's website when you use the code hashtag drink. So use that when you check out and buy your lime every month, and you'll get 10% off. And you are also supporting our podcast, which is super
Yes,
awesome.
and we have free shipping right now, which is going to change
Woohoo!
soon. So go and
Ooh,
buy now. So you get a 10%
yes.
off and free shipping.
Do it. Do it right now. Um, and then I know you have free shipping right now, but after that kind of goes away for all orders, is there a certain amount that they can order where they still get free shipping?
Yeah, right now, and this is constantly changing just because shipping is our biggest expense.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, we're doing if you have an order $25 or more, then you get free shipping. But we're also coming up with some subscriptions. Because you use Lime
Ooh.
once a month, you can kind of get a package and we'll send you Lime once a month for a year, and you get different benefits out of that, which is free shipping. We might be adding different things to it, like promo pins, stickers, scoops, but that's all kind of still in the works. We haven't finalized that yet.
Well, that sounds like so much fun. I'm so
Yeah,
excited for you guys, and thank you so much for just partnering with us since we're so new. It's so fun that we're having some really cool companies come on board with us and
definitely.
that they tolerate our weirdness too, because we're not normal.
We're definitely a different brand of weird and
Yeah,
fun,
yeah,
all wrapped up into one.
yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We hope you enjoyed our very first interview and buckle up because we have a few more coming. So,
Cheers.
cheers.